Hi folks, welcome to Applying the Sword. I'm Micah Pilcher. Very often we hear the phrase separation between church and state being cited, first as a legal basis for the removal of not just the influence, but the very imagery of Christianity from public places, and second, as being representative of the views of Thomas Jefferson, the founding father who first used the phrase in American history. What almost nobody realizes is that this phrase doesn't come from any founding American document. It doesn't come from the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, the Federalist Papers, or even the Articles of Confederation. The phrase itself came out of the Reformation in 16th century Europe, but was first used in America in a private letter written by Thomas Jefferson to the president of the Danbury Baptist Association in 1801. When the original question levied by the Baptists and President Jefferson's response are both analyzed in context, it becomes abundantly clear that our present understanding and legal application of the phrase separation between church and state are both so grossly ill-founded that it calls into question the education and honesty of those who have used it in court cases since the 1940s. More than that, the discourse renders a beautiful window into the founders' original intent, as was directed by Providence, as so credited in the letters. This intent of the founders and Providence is that man should have a wall of separation protecting him from the power of a state that did not approve of his theology. The wall was never intended to be a barrier to protect the state itself from the influence of the same Providence. Sir, among the many millions in America and Europe who rejoice in your election to office, we embrace the first opportunity, which we have enjoyed in our collective capacity since your inauguration, to express our great satisfaction in your appointment to the Chief Magistrate of the United States. And though the mode of expression may be less courtly and pompous than what many others clothe their addresses with, we beg you, sir, to believe that none is more sincere. Our sentiments are uniformly on the side of religious liberty, that religion is at all times and places a matter between God and individuals, that no man ought to suffer in name, person, or effects on account of his religious opinions, and that the legitimate power of civil government extends no further than to punish a man who works ill to his neighbor. But, sir, our constitution of government is not specific. Our ancient charter, together with the laws made coincident therewith, were adapted as the basis of our government at the time of our Revolution, and such has been our laws and usages, and such still are, so that religion is considered as the first object of legislation, and therefore what religious privileges we enjoy as a minor part of the state, we enjoy as favors granted, and not as inalienable rights. And these favors we receive at the expense of such degrading acknowledgments as are inconsistent with the rights of free men. It is not to be wondered at, therefore, if those who seek after power and gain under the pretense of government and religion should reproach their fellow men, or should reproach their chief magistrate, as an enemy of religion, law, and good order, because he will not, dares not, assume the prerogative of Jehovah and make laws to govern the kingdom of Christ. Sir, we are sensible that the President of the United States is not the national legislator, and also sensible that the national government cannot destroy the laws of each state. But our hopes are strong that the sentiment of our beloved President, which have had such a genial effect already, like the radiant beams of the sun, will shine and prevail through all these states and all the world until hierarchy and tyranny be destroyed from the earth. Sir, when we reflect on your past services and see a glow of philanthropy and goodwill shining forth in a course of more than 30 years, we have reason to believe that America's God has raised you up to fill the chair of state, out of that goodwill which he bears to the millions which you preside over. May God strengthen you for the arduous task which Providence and the voice of the people have called you to sustain and support you and your administration against all the predetermined opposition of those who wish to rise to wealth and importance on the poverty and subjection of the people. And may the Lord preserve you safe from every evil and bring you at last to his heavenly kingdom through Christ Jesus, our glorious mediator. Gentlemen, the affectionate sentiment of esteem and approbation which you are so good as to express towards me on behalf of the Danbury Baptist Association gives me the highest satisfaction. My duties dictate a faithful and zealous pursuit of the interests of my constituents, and in proportion as they are persuaded of my fidelity to those duties, the discharge of them becomes more and more pleasing. Believing with you that religion is a matter which lies solely between man and his God, that he owes account to none other for his faith or his worship, that the legislative powers of government reach actions only and not opinions, I contemplate with sovereign reverence that act of the whole American people which declared that their legislature would make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, thus building a wall of separation between church and state. Adhering to this expression of the supreme will of the nation in behalf of the rights of conscience, I shall see with sincere satisfaction the progress of those sentiments which tend to restore to man all his natural rights, convinced he has no natural right in opposition to his social duties. I reciprocate your kind prayers for the protection and blessing of the common Father and Creator of man, and tender for yourselves and your religious association assurances of my high respect and esteem.